thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you.
When I asked you to come to Disrupt, you were one of our very first announced speaker. I asked you if you would come and do what you do, and you said, I would love to. And I said, well, one of the things we want to do is I'd like to interview you, because Charlie Rose never gets interviewed himself.
For a very good reason.
And you said,
he's terrible at it, yeah.
And you said, absolutely not. You said,
yeah, absolutely.
You said, that's not, I'm not the story, I'm not going to be interviewed.
Exactly.
And I said, fine, no, that's no problem, just, show up. And so, I'm going to now interview you for just a couple of minutes. And if you have an objection now, feel free to, 2 minutes.
No, go ahead, whatever it is.
And I always say, you are,
After.
you can speak. So please, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was after admonishing me because I ran over with John, which I found so interesting I couldn't stop.
No, yeah, it was, you actually weren't that far over.
That's awesome.
To me, and I'm not just saying this because you're on stage here now, I mean, you are a national treasure. You've spoken to everybody there is to talk to in the world and in every field. And I feel like I can sit down with most people in tech and have a conversation with them, even on stage, even unprepared. But you can have a conversation with John Doerr and then go have a conversation with the president of Syria, not the king of Syria, I assume, right?
President.
And then, a Nobel laureate.
It might as well be.
How do you do that? How do you have a conversation with anyone in the world about anything at all at the highest level with no one?
You do it for a while, that's one thing. I don't necessarily accept your premise, but I mean, you do it for a while, and therefore, like everything else, you ought to get better at it, or else something's wrong. I'm most amazed by two things. One, what I don't know, and what my curiosity is to know. I mean, John left me with 7 ideas for shows, just with this conversation, which I did not know where it was going, even though I was informed by it, and even though, most of that was off the top of my head, in a sense, and John and I talked backstage in some sense of where he was in terms of, I didn't know the numbers about that kind of thing. But I'm also someone who listens to people who tell me, this is about who comes to the show. I know people's was so I didn't say no, but someone said, you really ought to have him on, and I listened to it and it makes sense. And that may be in the political arena, that may be in the cultural arena, that may be in the, and certainly I'm getting ready to do a show which some of you I suspect might be interested in, only because if I take a measure of what I think about most of the people I know in tech, I'm getting ready to do a show as I leave here, before I go to Syria, about the phenomenon of Stieg Larsson, as you know, has written the girl with the dragon tattoo, and the girl from the hornet's nest, and all of that. I'm just enormously curious. And it all connects together for me. Somehow the dots connect for me. And my life is an engagement with what's interesting to me. So,
which is everything.
Everything, yes. But I don't think, there's so many people that are so much smarter than I am that I have the great adventure for me is to just to come at it with a curious mind.
One of the things I find fascinating about the way you run your business is
the way I don't run it.
You own all of your own content.
Yes.
It's just yours.
Yes.
You have no weird rights media companies. And you just put it all online as soon as you could. And you can go to charlierose.com and see any of the interviews. How many interviews have you done? Just
15,000.
Just 15,000. 15,000. Why did you make that decision? Because we have so many media companies struggling today with what do we do to make money? And you just made this, is it because you just knew? You could have tried something weird and tried to sell.
Well, no, the people came to me and wanted to buy in.
And why didn't you?
Well, because control, number one. I believe in confidence in myself. But
but you share it with anyone who wants and streams on the internet. So control to give it away.
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't.
I'm not sure how long this is going to be this way either. I'm just like everybody in this room. I'm thinking about the models of the future and what the combinations are. I mean, it just seemed like the thing to do. First of all, I certainly believed we're seen around the world because of Bloomberg Television as well as online everywhere, and I get people. One thing sort of helps the other in terms of people will see on certain terminals that this is coming up and they watch it, and then they may decide came to me and they said, let's call the show, something hour, and it had to do with whatever, World Hour. I mean, I understood the name of the show.
Charlie Rose Show.
Charlie Rose.
Yeah.
And that was the most important decision I ever made. Second most important decision I ever made was to, in a sense, to make sure that I
What was very
did it
cool.
all. And then the third decision was in a sense that it was to make it available for lots of reasons. I mean, it just, as I go around, I will not get rich like this, and everybody here knows that. As I go around, people everywhere I go come up and say thank you, because they come and they see an interview, and that leads them to another interview.
Yeah.
So, but all of this is subject to change because, I'm as excited about the future because of that technology brings us. Because I think of technology not just as sort of the internet. I think of technology having to do with what's happening in mapping the human genome, or even the story that came up. My show on Friday night was with about this whole notion of an artificial cell, the artificial DNA, the whole world of synthetic biology. I'm fascinated by it, and so that is already on my website. Craig Venter is there. He did a half-hour show. So what's happening in the world and how I will fit into it remains to be seen. But I come to this event like this not simply because of an association with people that are in this room, and then people like John and Yuri and you are here to learn.
I appreciate you coming. You guys appreciate that Charlie came?
Yeah, my briefcase.
I'll personally
Anyway.
now. You've won the French Legion of Honor. It's like being knighted.
Sort of, yeah.
Except it's the highest honor. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Has it gone to your head?
No.